All right, welcome YouTube Nation. Jace Allen here, coming to you with a brand new channel, brand new video. That's right. This is the first time I've ever recorded and posted anything on YouTube. So basically, I'd like to talk to you guys about investing, specifically with Robinhood, M1 Finance or Webull. And obviously, I've got a lot of friends and family that have been interested in investing as well. And they've been asking me specifically, what to do when we get started, how to get started, what to look for, what stocks to look for, how to look for stocks, how to analyze stocks, anything and everything that you guys can think of that would involve investing. So I've been trying to help them out as much as possible. I thought, you know what, let's just go ahead and create a YouTube channel and see if I can't get a broader audience. And a quick disclaimer, I am not a stockbroker. I don't work for Charles Schwab or Fidelity. I'm not affiliated with any financial institution. This video is not sponsored by anybody. This is just purely my opinion and the entertainment purposes only. Hopefully you can learn a little bit. I would just use this video as a tool or a learning guide to look into stocks and analyzing stocks, as well as possibly other videos to help you determine what the community is doing, the investment community is doing. With that said, I think we should just dive right into the video. So chances are you're on Robinhood because you had a friend or family member send you an invite. They told you, hey, you get a free stock, I get a free stock if you sign up for Robinhood or Webull. And you thought, hey, why not? It's a free stock, right? So you did that. Now what? Now what do, right? So you ask your friend or family member who sent you the invite, what stock should I buy? What are we looking at now? What are we doing? And they might give you a few ideas. Oh, invest all your money in Apple, for example, or invest all your money in Tesla. Well, you get on there and you look, and currently those both are selling at a pretty high amount. I think Apple's selling at $500 right now. The split hasn't happened as of yet, and Tesla's selling for just under $2,000, I believe. The split hasn't happened yet as well. So you're thinking, I don't have that kind of money to put in. What should I do? So I want to go over a few steps with you, and maybe starting out with a specific amount of money, and then possibly what stocks to look at first if you've never invested before, if you have no idea of how the stock market works. We need to determine what kind of investor you're going to be. So obviously the stock market, it fluctuates on a daily basis. It's going to go up and down. You might make $5, $6, $7, $8, $10 at 1 hour. The next hour you might lose $20. So if you're going to be somebody that gets on your phone and you watch your stocks every 15 minutes and you get extremely anxious or have anxiety when it's in the red and you're thinking you just lost all your money, what are you supposed to do? Or you get extremely excited and then you get anxiety when it's in the green that, man, should I sell it and make that money and then buy something else? So if you've never invested before, this can be a little bit of a learning curve. So some of the stocks that we're going to invest in are going to be, like, for example, long term. They're going to fluctuate for the course of potentially 10, 15, 20 years, or you can invest in like a dividend stock, which is going to pay you either monthly or quarterly dividends, which is just like a small payment from the company that says, hey, thank you for owning our stock. I kind of look at it as that's my income for owning a percentage of the company. So that's the first thing we want to do, is just determine, if you download a stock, what kind of investor are you going to be? And if you do get kind of anxious and some anxiety, that'll kind of go away once you start looking at the stock market, and it fluctuates quite a bit through the course of a day. Especially if you look at what stocks do through the course of a month. Next, I'd like to talk about before you invest any money, before you invest any amount of money in the stock market, into Robinhood, Webull, M1 Finance, you need to make sure that all your bills are paid. So rent, mortgage, car payment, lease payment, car insurance, cell phone, TV, internet. Make sure you have groceries and gas allotments taken out of your paychecks. Make sure that every single thing that you need to take care of is paid for, especially credit cards. You want to make sure that your credit card payments are paid and caught up. If you actually have extra cash, before you invest in any type of investment or financial institution, I would try to get those credit cards paid off. If you think about it in terms of like an analogy, like a swimming pool, right? You want to add water to the swimming pool. So you're adding, let's say a gallon of water to the swimming pool, but the swimming pool itself has a hole and you're losing 2 gallons for every gallon that you put in. It's similar to stocks, and it sounds kind of stupid, I know my analogies, but if you're putting money into the stock market and you're making a dividend, but you're paying out way more in interest in those credit cards, that just isn't necessarily good business sense. It's just not a good investment sense. So try to get as many of those credit cards paid off as much as possible before you start investing. If you have kids and they're starting school, make sure that they have clothes, they have lunch money, they have the books, the shoes, everything that they're going to need to succeed for school. Once all that stuff's been paid for and you take a look at what you have left, that's kind of the money that you want to use to invest. Throughout the course of investing, you're going to want to try to find ways to maybe cut some corners here and there and save a little bit of money specifically for investments. Because once you start getting some decent amount of returns for your dividends, it really does pay dividends, I guess, so to speak. So now, along those lines with the extra money that you have set aside specifically for the investments, make sure that that is money that you can live without. Now, I've heard a lot of people say, make sure it's money that you can afford to lose. And I don't really like that term because you're not really losing it, you're investing it. So just make sure that it's money that you can live without. If for whatever something happens in the future and you think, man, I really need that money to fix my car, it's still there. It may have dropped a little bit, but you still own those shares of the company that you purchased. So just again, make sure it's money that you can live without. So how much do you invest at the beginning? I would recommend, if you've never invested before, if this is the first time you've invested, like I said, you just downloaded Robinhood, Webull, or M1 Finance, I would start with between $100 to $200. And the reason is, kind of like we discussed before, we don't know what type of investor you're going to be yet. If you're going to get a lot of anxiety, I'd rather you have anxiety with $100 than $1,000 or even more. So start with about $100 to $200 and put that in there for a week, a day, whatever the case is, and just see what your tendencies are going to be. If you're looking at your phone or on the computer looking at M1 Finance or Webull every 15 minutes, but you're just doing it to see what the stock's doing, it doesn't really give you a lot of anxiety, then obviously you can invest a little bit more. If you put $100 in there and you feel like, oh my goodness, the stock market just dropped 8% and I just lost, $8 of my $100, I need to sell. Well, it's better to lose $8 of $100 and sell and know that versus losing $80 of $1,000 in selling. So that's why I would start small. That's why I would start with like between $100 to $200. And with that amount, we can actually buy a couple of decent stocks. So if this is the first time you've invested, I personally would start with ETFs. And I've got a couple of ETFs here that I think would be great starter ETFs for you to invest in. The first stock I'm going to have you invest in is going to be VYMI, which is going to be Vanguard International High Dividend Yield. It's an ETF. It's currently trading at $55.09. So if you invest, again, $100 to $200, you could actually purchase this ETF. And this ETF actually has about 1,124 companies in it. Royal Bank of Canada and Siemens AG. It also offers a dividend of about 3.16%, which is just a little under the average that you would probably want to have in your portfolio. Most people want to average between 4 and 5%. But again, if you're just starting, I think this is a really good dividend ETF to invest in. Next stock on the list is going to be ticker symbol VYM. That is part of the U.S. market with currently 429 companies inside of the ETF, including companies such as Johnson & Johnson, P&G or Procter & Gamble, JP Morgan, AT&T, Verizon. The stock is currently trading at approximately $83.73 with a dividend yield of about 3.53 which is still, again, it's a little under that 4%, 4 to 5%, what you're trying to get in your dividend. If you're starting out, 3.5, and you're owning essentially 429 companies, which is really a good thing. Okay, the next one on the list is going to be ticker symbol VXUS. It's for the global market. It has approximately 6,883 companies. It is currently selling at the current moment at $54.04, and it offers a dividend yield of approximately 2.39%. Now again, that is obviously under our 4%, which we're looking at, but to start investing in some ETFs, potentially owning a huge percentage of the market, I believe is a good thing. I mean, it's just a good feeling, and when you get that first dividend payment, it also it feels really good. So next company on the list is going to be ticker symbol VOO. It is a U.S. market with just over 500 companies in the ETF, including ExxonMobil, Apple, IBM, and GE. Now this one's trading a little bit higher. Obviously, if you're starting out with $100 to $200, you can't afford it. It's going to be $316.20 with a dividend yield of 1.69%. Now I put this one at the bottom of the list because of the lower dividend yield and because it's trading for $316. But it does offer some very good companies like Apple, IBM, some of the tech companies. So potentially owning a huge percentage of the market, I believe is a good thing. I mean, it's just a good feeling. And when you get that first dividend payment, it also it feels really good. So my 4 ETFs that I think you should look at when you first start investing that you really can't go wrong with. Let them kind of help you determine what type of investor you're going to be. Let them help you determine if you're going to get super anxiety, if you're going to be excited, and in trading. So any one of these ETFs, you're really going to own a decent percentage of the market. You're going to own anywhere from potentially 15 to maybe even 65 to 75% of the market. So that's a really good job. All right, so that concludes my video. Again, like I said, this is the first time I've done this first video. I've never put it on YouTube before, so hopefully you liked it. With that, I do have 2 people who've been kind of enduring me do this entire video that'd like to give you guys a message, so come on in.
I hope you liked my dad's video and subscribe to the channel. Give the big thumbs up and hit that.
That's alright. So hold on. So stand back over here, say. So smash that like button and leave a comment down below.
Smash that like button and leave a comment down below, or you'll be cursed for 24 hours. So you better destroy that thing. If you see the subscribe button red, you better make it gray.